Yeah, I need to record this for about 10 minutes. Just, I'll tell you when to stop. Ain't no big deal. And I don't want them to see y'all. I'll just go.
Want me to stop?
No, you can leave. I've been thinking all week about y'all poetry. How'd it go when y'all performed?
I did good. Just everybody said mine was good because it was like I was just explaining to myself about life, other people's life, about kids, what they're trying to do with their life.
Yeah.
So,
The reason I was thinking about all week just how powerful y'all words were, and just when y'all write from y'all heart, that like there was something that comes out of the authenticity of like the youth perspective about all the stuff that's going on in y'all world.
yeah.
And then when we talked about last week about what happened on the radio, I just don't. It's hard to figure out what happens from like when y'all writing pure like that
Mhm.
to when it turns into this corporation and all the shit that we talking about in the music. So I was just been thinking about the different ways in which the lyrics are presented in y'all music, and I wanted to just share a couple of different examples based on what we talked about last week. That just to recap, we was talking about last week just the corporations, and again, I love hip hop, I love the music, I just don't love what the corporations have done to it. We was talking last week about just the behind the scene things where you see, Bobby Shmurda still locked up, and I imagine all these people that he got signed with, may have tried to bail him out or whatever, but every artist goes through a process where there's behind the scenes, folk that are endorsing messages that, we talked about this last week. So just quick recap, just the lyrics, my approach to it is to look at, not just what the beat's saying, but I really talk about what are the words, what are the long-term consequences of some of the things that some of the artists are saying. And Offset actually, his new album is actually decent. Have you ever heard his new album? He got a new album called Father of Four, and his first song, he was talking about his 4 children and the different baby mamas, and it's real honest. Like I think that's kind of where I'm getting at. Is like there's something about the honesty that y'all had in y'all music and y'all poetry that gets missing. But I think some artists are trying to get back to it. So we were talking about women last time, and the different ways that there's messages about drugs. This is the Pipe It Up song. Drugs and guns and penises and crack pipes all get hidden in his messages around Pipe It Up, but they got kids in the video.
Just trying to make it easier and make it interesting.
Right. But it normalizes the stuff that, like, in real life, we got, actual problems with addiction in the community, locked up, and violence, but then somehow in the music it turns into fun and kids
dance to it.
Absolutely. So we're talking about that for women. Migos performing at the Nickelodeon, right? And for me, I never forget the white dude behind the scenes. Like I never forget, who's signing the checks, who's really making money from it. So the other topic that I hear most often, particularly in y'all music, is the women disrespecting the women, and then the drug references. Like every song got the drug references. And I'm in the juvenile detention center a couple days a week, and I just hear them talk about.
A couple days a week?
Yeah, I'm there 2 days a week.
You go there? Where's that? It's far away?
No, it's on Roosevelt and Hamlin.
Yeah, I know. I know it's probably. Yeah, I know. I probably passed that before.
And so I be in there just hearing them talk about how afraid they are. Like they talk about they can't even go, like, because y'all at school, which is fine. Like, a couple kids in there said they can't even go to no school out west because they're ops. There's this constant fear of dying everywhere they go. And so when I think about that anxiety as a psychologist, I think about what people need to do for anxiety. Hold on, man. Welcome, come on in, have a seat. What people need to do for anxiety, and there's a bunch of different ways to deal with the fear, but the pills that they pop in are anxiety medications, Molly, Percocets, all those kind of things, Xanax, y'all taking stuff to helping you deal with the fear of just being in the hood every day, and the music is endorsing it. That's different from my music. My music was talking about weed and maybe selling drugs, but not doing drugs in the same way. And so I got a couple of examples of that.
Like Lil Pump.
Lil Pump.
Every song he do.
Every song.
I'm a Lil Pump. Yeah.
Right.
All you want to do is do drugs and stuff.
So this is the last time I was looking at GCI songs a couple months ago. The number one song on GCI was a song by Gucci Mane. And he's talking about, I don't usually do this unless I'm drunk or I'm high, but I'm both
drunk,
right now.
I'm drunk.
I just popped one of them, what you call it. He don't know the name. He don't even know the name of what he just popped, right? This is popular. This is GCI. Kids listen to us. It gets repeated over and over again. And the reason I have a problem with it is because I understand the difference between what they present and what they promote and what they do in their real life. This is Gucci Mane, just a year before that song came out, where he talks about detoxing from lean in prison. He said he's happy to survive his addiction. Drying out, this is a quote from the article, drying out from lean is probably one of the worst feelings in the world. It tears your body down, it tears your mind down. So for me, when I try to understand what it means for a grown man to experience the problem of addiction, to talk about that in his interviews, but then just a year later, just be on the radio telling a bunch of kids, probably is what you call it, to make it look fun. There's something about that feels inauthentic, but also creates problems. Future had the same song. I was at the Universal Circus and saw this little 5-year-old singing the Molly's and Percocet song. And so there's two problems. Like one, like I show these things because they're popular. Them being popular is a different thing, because that means that they got access to the minds of young people over and over again. The repetitiveness of it just drills this into your head. And then you print the lyrics out, and then it's really that moment where you read what they're saying. Like, why would they be saying that to a bunch of kids over and over again? Like, they don't even know what they're talking about. But more than that, what does it mean for these people to not be actually doing the things that they're talking about? Future say he's not really an addict. He raps about drugs because it's a catch. When he says a catch, what do you think he's trying to catch? What is he trying to get?
Our attention.
Trying to catch y'all attention, right? And really, y'all, for real, like really y'all age, like young high school, trying to catch y'all attention. That's a coward to me. Like a grown man that's going to sell his people out for some money to catch the attention of young people.
I don't know, grown people listen to the music. Kids, teenagers really listen to the music.
Yeah. So a grown person has a different decision to make. Like, they got more power, they got more responsibility, but like kids are much more vulnerable to this kind of stuff. So I'm real, I get real sensitive about what gets popular, and then the men behind it that are not actually honest about the things we're talking about. That dynamic is always a problem for me. This is Future's bosses. I always look them up. I always find out who they label are. Just to remind myself that Future is getting paid by people that's not experiencing the communities that are getting torn up by addiction or mass incarceration. These are, the board members, you know what I'm saying? And these are folks that's really making the real money. Like, you find a couple of reports like this. Lil Uzi Vert, he made $900K, which is a lot of money to him. A lot of money to me. Like, I'll take that. But I would not take it at no cost.
Can I ask something?
You know what I'm saying? You're selling your soul out for this kind of stuff, but the people that's really benefiting from it aren't the people that, are in this community.
Can I ask something?
Absolutely.
When a rapper gets signed, how much money do they give them, like, to sign the paper, and how much money do they get them right there?
So a lot of them, and they talking about it more and more, that they get taken advantage of a lot. And they talk about how they get stuck in these, they call them 360 deals, and they only get pennies compared to what other people are making. But if you grow up poor and you ain't got nothing, then just a little bit of money can make a big difference. The problem though is that when they get into these labels, they get teams of people around them that restrict some of the things that they're able to say. And so, they got the people editing their lyrics, and they're not gonna like the song. There's this conversation behind the scenes that always says, no, the kid's not gonna like this, but the stuff that comes out is always stuff that is about derogatory to women stuff, or gang violence, or drugs, the same kind of type of stuff. And when I hear y'all write, right, so there's people saying, no, they ain't gonna like it, but then when y'all write what y'all wanna write, y'all not talking about guns and drugs, y'all talking about what's going on in the city. And so it makes me feel like maybe y'all would like it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's something that y'all would listen to if it was put onto a good beat, if it was played on the radio over and over again, that was positive, that was uplifting, that was inspirational. But the people behind the scenes, and we know who they are, we can always find them, for some reason only put out certain content over and over again. And we just got to talk about what that impact has on the well-being of the community, because it's just happening too much. So I can find a couple of songs I want to play that do different things. This is a Juice